involved in the assassination. He knew it was going to happen. Jack Ruby and Lee Harvey Oswald they knew each other. Another great thing, real quickly, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, many people talk about the fact of Officer Tippit, the policeman that was killed. Officer Tippit, ladies and gentlemen, was the answer to the Kennedy assassination. Tippit knew, and he probably could have stopped it. For many reasons, you could stand here and talk about and theorize, but something happened. He didn't. And then, of course, 43 minutes after the president was killed here, only 43 minutes, not even an hour, the president was killed at 12:30, and then at 1:14, Officer Tippit was killed over in Oak Cliff, supposedly by Lee Harvey Oswald. If Lee Harvey Oswald shot Officer Tippit, which I believe he did, he may not have though, but if Oswald did shoot Officer Tippit, the only reason he shot him, Officer Tippit was supposed to kill Oswald. Jack Ruby set that up. So once Tippit didn't get the job done and got killed himself, Oswald had to be silenced. And they ordered Jack Ruby to shoot him that Sunday morning in the basement of the Dallas Police Department in front of 86 Dallas police officers. They let him down there. Some of you seen the film. Some of you old enough to live it out or live that day on TV that Sunday morning. He darted out of the crowd and shot him one time with that 38 and killed him. Oswald had to be silenced. He knew too much. Ladies and gentlemen, another quick thing, a lot of people that have studied the Kennedy assassination these last 50 years, Lee Harvey Oswald, only 24 years old when all this happened, ex-Marine, but he was a United States double government agent. And he also had ties with Russia. Oswald's educational IQ was 148. He was a very intelligent man. Educational, book-wise. Didn't have too much common sense, evidently, so he wouldn't have got involved. But he was involved. And Oswald was the patsy. But he fired no shots from that window. When the shots were being fired, ladies and gentlemen, Lee Harvey Oswald was on the second floor in the lunchroom with those ladies. That's where he was. Miss Victoria Adams is still living. She's 78 years old. She comes here every anniversary, and she will tell you today, when the shots were going off, she was sitting at the lunch table right across from Lee Harvey Oswald. She saw him there and talked to him. Officer Marion Baker of the Dallas Police Department. Within 1 minute of the president being hit in the head, Officer Baker ran into the book depository. And as he reached the second floor level, he said, I saw 3 women and a man. When the man saw Officer Baker come to the lunchroom door, he got up and started walking away. Officer Baker pulled his service revolver out of his holster, and he said, hold it, sir. The man turned around, and he said, come here. And he walked right up to Officer Baker. He had a Coke in his hand. He said, what is your name? And he told him, he said, sir, my name is Lee Oswald. About that time, Mr. Roy Truly, Oswald's supervisor, you must remember Oswald was an employee of that building. He had worked there a month and 2 weeks when this happened. And Mr. Truly saw what was going on between Oswald, the encounter with him and the officer. So Mr. Truly ran up to the officer and he told him, he said, whoa, he said, wait a minute, sir. He said, this man's one of my employees. He works here. And when Mr. Truly said that to Officer Baker, he let Oswald go. He had no reason at that point to suspect him. He didn't see him do anything. The only thing that even made it suspicious as he saw Oswald got up and started walking away. So that's why he stopped him and detained him for a few seconds and identified him. After that, he let him go. Oswald was in the lunchroom as the shots were going off. Was he involved in the assassination? Yes. He knew the whole thing. But he did not fire any shot. But if you go up there today, maybe some of you have already been, maybe you've been here before, to the 6th floor museum, they're going to tell you the government Warren Commission story that Lee Harvey Oswald shot President Kennedy. That's the biggest lie ever told in this country. He did not. He didn't. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll only be here that day. Not only being here the day of the assassination, I have researched the Kennedy assassination for 42 years. Like I say, been in Dallas all my life, so talked to many witnesses, interviewed them. And back in the 70s, ladies and gentlemen, in 1970, I think I wrote it. Yeah. I wrote a little, it wasn't no million seller or nothing, it was a decent little book. I wrote a book in 1971 called Shattered Friday, I wrote that book in 71 on the Kennedy assassination, interviewed many witnesses, and then in 2003 I revised the book to DVD, and I've been doing this, like I said, about 44 years altogether. Talking to witnesses, interviewing the doctors at Parkland, talked to all the critical witnesses that were right here, as myself. And that's why I've done this, because, ladies and gentlemen, it just entranced my life seeing it, because I knew on the day of the assassination at the age of 13, that was the most monogamous lie ever told in this country, that Lee Harvey Oswald killed John Kennedy. Real quickly, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure some of you just recently seen this. It was on 2020, 2 weeks ago. It's been on the Good Morning America news, which used to be Good Morning America. Some of you saw this. Her son was on there. A lady named Rose Cherry, who worked for Jack Ruby. She was one of his burlesque dancers. On November the 20th, 2 days before this happened, she was in New Orleans, Louisiana. They had her at a mental hospital in New Orleans. Said she was crazy. She wasn't crazy. And she told them that Wednesday morning, she said they're going to kill John Kennedy in Dallas. And 2 of the doctors believed her story, and in fact, they got the police involved. However, the government stepped in, then they carried her to another institution, and she was hid for several months. Eventually, in 1965, she was murdered 2 years later. So, as I said, 21 witnesses within a period of 2 years and 7 months come up dead. That was another thing that was engraved to this. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I thank you all for listening. Like I say, I don't sell anything. I do accept small gratuities. If you do have one of the books,